do you want a credit card? And people are just like, yeah, actually, I would.
Enough that they keep doing it. It's just, yeah, they just tried to give me a Capital One card. I'm like, one, all right, we're already all in your ecosystem. But two, I'm not like, I'm not doing it. I don't know. That's it. But it is random. The Cinemark ones are really, really random. It's like, would you like dining dollars or whatever? And it's like, what? Anyway.
Would you like to save 10 cents a gallon on gas? Like, what the fuck did this come from?
Welcome to episode 197 of the One Take Podcast. That's not usually how I do that intro. Welcome to the One Take Podcast, episode 197. This week we are talking summer blockbusters. We're talking F1 and Jurassic World Rebirth. Jurassic World Afterbirth? Jurassic World Rebirth.
Jurassic Birth of a Nation.
No, ooh. Sure. Okay. Joined as always by Dex and Tej. One of these movies I think we all loved, and the other movie, we're gonna have to, I guess, mute Tej from completely destroying it, because I think Dex and I found it to be kind of fun. But yeah, well, how are we doing other than Tej? You said like you were completely unmoved.
Jurassic World gave him depression, is what he said.
Yes, that movie made me question the state of cinema. But I watched Superman last night, so everything is good. Things are good. Superman is good. I'm extremely excited for our next week's episode about Superman, but not now. Next week.
Yeah, that will be coming out next week. Give some people a opportunity, people meaning me, to see it.
Well, no one's really seen it yet except for me and Dex. But
yeah, I'm with the pores over here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good God, y'all just seeing all these movies. You saw F1 at this point, Dex. You saw F1 13 weeks ago.
Yeah,
dude, it's been a minute actually. Now that I'm thinking about it,
early.
I remember everything that happened in that movie because that shit ruled.
I'm surprised because this movie is long. Holy crap! Is this movie a long movie?
Yeah.
F1, the movie, because they couldn't just call it F1 because of whatever brand synergy.
SEO.
Yeah. 7.9 on IMDb, 2025 movie, PG-13, 2 hours and 35 minutes long. Good God in heaven. What we were getting every single turn of every race in this movie. A Formula One driver comes out of retirement to mentor and team up with a younger driver. Okay, sure. That's about as deep as you need to go. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, written by Aaron Kruger and Joseph Kosinski. Stars Brad Pitt, Damson Idris, Javier Bardem, Kerry Condon, Tobias Menzies, Sarah Niles. That's really sort of the most notable faces that you'll know from this movie. This is an Apple TV product, surprisingly, because it is one of the first, not one of the first, but one of the, no, I guess it would be one of the first. I guess that Killers of the Flower Moon got a wide release, but they kind of took it out of theaters really quickly. This is still in theaters. This is sort of the widest release that I think that Apple has done for a movie, and they had to because they spent $200 million on it. So they were like, you know what's better than not making money on our TV service? Making money.
Making money. We would like to do that, please.
Yeah.
We're a real business, we promise.
They did for a minute. It had a really good opening weekend, 57 million domestic in the U.S. and Canada, made $305 million overall so far. And I mean, it was kind of obliterated by Jurassic World, and it's definitely going to be obliterated by the Supermans and the Fantastic Fours that are coming out. But decent reviews for a pretty standard movie, 83% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, 97% from audiences. Really big audience pleaser. Dex, we'll start with you because you saw it first and you said you remember everything. What did you think of F1 : the movie?
Yeah, this is one of those movies where, like, you know, you could nitpick about this movie and be like, oh, it's not realistic. Oh, they like cut out a bunch of subplots, and you can tell that they had like hacked a lot out of this movie. It was too long, blah blah blah. Like, You could do all of that, and you'd be right, and you'd be fair. But watching this movie in IMAX, and Brad Pitt is like talking cash shit the whole time. Damson Idris is like being cool as hell. Carrie Condon is like, for whatever reason, just popping the fuck off in this movie. Like it, and you just are locked in watching this on this giant ass screen, and like you you just feel something, man. You're just like, hell yeah. Like they're crashing cars and shit. They're like, you know, climbing up the leaderboard of these races, and you're just like, yeah, get them. Like, it's just it's fucking sick. Everybody who I've talked to about this movie, because like they gave out posters at the screening I was at, so I have one at my desk at work now. So everyone walks up and they're like, "Oh yeah, I went and saw that," and they're just like, "Hell yeah, man, that was awesome." Like, nobody's like, "Oh, we should have given more time to this random subplot," or "Oh, like, this they crashed the car too many times and that got repetitive," or what. Everyone's just like, "Yeah, that was fucking sick." Like, it's a dope sports movie that you just sit there and you're like, "Wow, I can't believe like I'm watching an F1, what feels like a real F1 race in IMAX. This shit is awesome." Brad Pitt is doing movie star shit. Damson Idris is doing junior movie star shit. It just rules, man. I give it like probably honestly like a B plus, but it's definitely a B plus that I recommend going to see in theaters, so you can just have that hell yeah experience.
Teej, what'd you think?
I absolutely loved it. I think Kaczynski's got something special. I think that he's one of our best at platforming our biggest stars in the biggest movies. And I obviously, it is impossible not to be thinking of Top Gun Maverick when you sit down to watch this movie. This movie's longer than Top Gun Maverick. It feels longer than Top Gun Maverick.
Shocking.
And I didn't care. I felt the weight of this runtime, and I did not care. From start to finish, I was having a great time. They did a really good job. I am not a person who's into F1 or racing sports at all. That's not real hoops to me. That's just not my vibes. But I love a racing movie, and what this movie did very well, amongst many other things that it did very well, is that they used the announcers to give us the exposition of exactly what the rules are and how F1 works, how do teammates work together, how should they work together, how fast pit stop should be. So when we see a 6.5 second pit stop, we know just how fucking insane it is that pit stop took 6.5 seconds. I would have never known that until he told us that the average pit stop was 2 seconds or whatever he said, right? That is the way of letting the people like me, and there are plenty of us in the movie theater who don't know shit about F1, but who want to enjoy the movie. So I thought they did a good job of that. They used some new camera technology to so you could twist and see the road, but also go inside the car and see the driver. That shit's just really cool. Being in those cars is really fucking cool. I also watched it in 4DX, which is basically a roller coaster. So it was a very great experience.
I was gonna say, man, I would have been in there throwing up.
I just think that this Brad Pitt guy, man, he can literally do everything.
This Brad Pitt guy has
this
it.
Got a future
in this business.
He's got a future in this business. Like he can literally do everything, man. It's actually wild to see how much chemistry him and Carrie Condon have, and it's like Brad Pitt's playing the game on easy mode. It doesn't look like he's necessarily trying to be very different than any other Brad Pitt character you've ever seen, but he's just so good in that role. I just thought he's great. Javier Bardem is good in every role. He's never been bad at anything. So he's just a perfect person to have in that spot.
I love the cut of his jib in this movie, man. He's
great.
He looks great.
He looks phenomenal. First of all, everyone in this movie looks fucking phenomenal.
Everyone's hot.
Everyone.
Yeah,
it's a very good-looking movie. Idris, I was very, very excited to see him in such a big role. He hasn't done a ton of movies, so putting him literally right next to Brad Pitt could be a disaster, and it wasn't at all. I just thought that he really held his own. I thought it was great. Obviously, you can't help but to think about and I know I only say this because I know Kaczynski is thinking like this. You can see it all across Top Gun Maverick. What does it mean for this young generation of actors who are now going to come and make a movie with Tom Cruise? What does it mean that Lawrence from Insecure is on set with Tom Cruise for 2 weeks? What does that mean for that guy's career, right? What does it mean for Idris that he spent 3 months on set with Brad Pitt, and he gets to watch him and watch his work ethic, watch how seriously he takes a job, watch how he prepares, watch how he learns lines. Whatever the sauce is that he needs to see, and that part, that push and pull, is in both of these movies. And I think that's just like in the history of blockbusters, the best blockbusters do that. They are not just giving you fun shit on screen to watch and adore. They're also showing you something about the people in the movie. They're showing you at what point in this career was Tom Cruise put next to this guy, where you realize who Tom Cruise was in relation to that guy. You know, the putting Idris in a position like this, you could look back in 10 years and say, holy shit, man, that guy's first movie or his first big release was fucking in a movie with Tom Cruise with Brad Pitt, and now he's a movie star. Now he's a leading man. And so I thought he just did a good job in the performance. This movie looks and sounds cool as shit. The plot is simple. It makes sense. Some of it makes a little bit too much sense. Like, we have to win one race and we get to keep our team. But if we come in like second in this race, we lose the team. Like, somehow that's where we're going. You can kind of see that they rejiggered because this movie was started filming before the writer's strike and had to pause for the writer's strike. There were changes made to the script. Pretty much the whole third act part where the one guy within the team is trying to take over the team, so he starts to sabotage the team. All that stuff's like a new addition that was added after they had already been shooting. So you can kind of feel some of that stuff. But for a summer blockbuster, I just really enjoyed it. I would give it an A. I just had a great time watching it. I was thrilled the entire time. And the way they set up the movie, it's like so much of it is like a typical tropes that you see in blockbusters, but I just thought it's really well done. Their first race together, obviously they're at odds. They have no chemistry whatsoever. They barely had a conversation. Now they're fucking each other up out there. And the pit crew's bad. Everything's going bad. It's like the Bad News Bears. Everything's going to shit. They look like everybody expects them to look, which is like the worst team out there. Their car's already not as fast, so now you're figuring out how does someone in an F1 race who knows they're not going to have the fastest car on the track gain points and win races or place high in races? How does that work? Well, we've got to make the race dirty. We got to have a whole bunch of red flags and checker flags. We got to have a whole bunch of cautions so that we can gain time on everybody, not everybody run a smooth race. What is your partner supposed to do? Only one guy can win the race. Well, he's drafting off of him. He's hiding behind him and popping out at the right time. He's causing chaos. Like, they had to teach me all that stuff as I was watching the movie, but they did a great job of teaching me that stuff. I will say this movie doesn't make me want to watch real F1 because that's not a real sport. I drive my car every day, so I don't want to drive my car. But in terms of some thrills at the box office,
Teach says I'm in LA traffic.
I'm in LA traffic all the time. I know how to do some tricks too. So as a summer blockbuster, hell yeah, brother! I'm glad I watched it. And I think we got this Kaczynski guy, man. I just think that he's phenomenal. I think that what he's able to accomplish. This is not just a Top Gun thing now, because this is an original movie. Obviously, there's source material being there's actually a league called F1, and it has drivers, including some of the drivers we see in the movie. But this is a novel new movie. This is an original movie, and it's doing gangbusters. It costs a lot. This was just a good gamble by Apple, and I like this Kaczynski guy, and I can't wait to see what he makes next. I give it an A.
Brand Synergy, the movie, brought to you by
true.
Zen.
Brought to you by fucking every business you've ever heard of.
Everything. I think they sold actual sponsorships in this movie, which they should have, because this movie was expensive. They made new cameras. They literally went on the track during the races. They have all of these F1 drivers in the movie. Lewis Hamilton is a part of this shit. He's a producer on the movie.
Yeah. Doing press with Tim Apple for this movie.
Yeah, Tim Apple. And no, I think as a sports movie, racing movie, I think that it holds up to, many of its predecessors. I think a couple of weeks ago I talked about Rush, which I think is, to me, a better movie than this, due to plot structure and the dramatic nature of it, and the entire the entirety of the movie, not just the racing, is, I think, better, if on par, if not better than what F1 brings to the table. But what F1 does bring to the table is me being so locked in when they have the overhead shot looking through the window that I couldn't breathe. And it's almost like it's taped to the helmet of Brad Pitt, and he's like looking around, and you can see the other cars flying by. I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah,
this is unbelievable. And teacher, talking about the camera motion of the thing swinging around. You can tell it's Damson. Now they're probably not going 220 miles an hour like these cars get up to. How fast do they actually go on those straights? Like 270?
Yeah, something around that.
Like, yeah, I don't think they're going that fast. I don't think that anything would ensure them to go that fast
enough for it to be dangerous.
They were going fast enough to, like, you couldn't get me in one of those rockets. So I don't know, how they ensured Brad Pitt to get into that car. But hey, they did it. And I think my main complaint is that the script is a little janky. It's very formulaic, but sports movies are formulaic for a reason, and we love them still. So
yeah, the formula works.
Yeah, the Formula One works, and and I don't know. I you just kind of saw the ending coming from a while away, but I'm still, I thought for a second, this is spoiling a movie that has now been out for 2 or 3 weeks and is going to be on Apple TV in probably 3 days. But
stop listening if you don't want spoilers. We're going to spoil.
Yeah, stop listening. You can kind of probably predict what happens within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I thought for a second they were going to flip it on its head. They were going to let Damson Idris win the race. And I thought that would have been, a pretty, not a different ending, but a pretty cool way to actually end the movie. They do the Top Gun sacrifice yourself thing.
Yeah.
Like you saw in Maverick.
That literally is what they did in Maverick.
This is Top Gun Maverick 2.0, but just kind of a worse version, really.
Top Car Maverick,
and Top Gear Maverick, if you will.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
And I think that, it has sort of the same act structure. Old hand, hired gun comes in, has to teach the young guns to do their thing. And then he gets his get back at the very end of the movie because he's the only one that can do it. Tale as old as time for one, sports movies, but two, this kind of boomer sentimentality that we're seeing at the movies, that they're the generation that can still do it, sort of thing. Yeah. But when you have Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt, it works. I don't know what to tell you. My main complaint with this is that I don't think Brad Pitt was trying very hard when he had to actually act. He was just being Brad Pitt, which mostly works. He gets 1 or 2 moments to really be Academy Award winner Brad Pitt when he's like kind of talking to Kerry Condon about his wreck, and he really dials in, the fastball on that one. But most of the other stuff, he's kind of just flicking cards around the room, like the interactions between him and Damson. Okay, sure. I thought Damson was pretty good, given what he was able to work with. It's hotshot guy that then gets supplanted by said old fart, and he has to learn his ways. And it wasn't his fault that I wrecked, and so on and so forth, which I thought was a little contrived.
That was very contrived. Like, yeah. I don't think his character ever thought it was Tom Cruise's fault. And have the scene with the mom is like, oh my gosh, your fault. I was like, yeah, this is literally to just put some plot forward. It has no stakes whatsoever.
Right, exactly.
He doesn't actually think that no one actually thinks that Brad Pitt's character caused that car accident. No one.
Yeah, and he goes into the simulator and it's like Jarvis and Hans, and he's able to figure it out.
Again.
I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it looks dangerous to drive these rocket ships that they choose to pay these guys millions of dollars to do so. At a certain point, I get why they were doing the literal, that'll be a 30-second pit stop. That'll be, so many things out of his. And at a certain point, I was just kind of wondering, are they announcing the race or are they announcing over the track speakers? Or is this like supposed to be televised? I kind of got lost in the sauce with that. And I also, at a certain point, got a little annoyed because I would have just have liked to see the race instead of them explaining every 2 seconds. I get why they did it, and for Tej, like
I would have been so fucking lost, bro.
Yeah.
but they
So
they
confused.
almost overuse it is my main complaint.
But that's also like kind of how it is on TV.
Right.
'Cause, like,
Yeah.
if
I
you're
was watching the
watching-
British Grand Prix this weekend, and they were just talking about everything.
Yeah, if you're watching if you're watching an F1 race for the first time, like they will let you know what you need to know.
Yeah. I think
But
they
it
could
did
have
feel like they were narrating like a video game, like tutorial.
exactly what it felt like. I should have written it down, but I had the thought when I watched this. This is the most video game like movie that I've seen that isn't a video game adaptation in a long time. And not derogatory, but it felt that way. It felt like they were taking you step by step
Like,
by
this is
what
your
you needed to
toolkit.
yeah, what you needed to do. This is how your tires work, which is how the F1 video game works. And it's a fun video game, but it's exactly
I learned so
how
much
it
about
works.
tires in this film. But
Hard tires, soft tires.
Hard and soft tires. I didn't know none of that shit. I learned so much.
Also, and
Press
yeah,
the down arrow to open your mini map.
Yeah. You have DRS now. You know, I thought all in all, I give it a B plus. I thought all in all, it was a lot of fun. And I mean, I forget where it was. It might have been the first F1 race, where they come out, and it felt, it genuinely felt. I keep using this term, but you were in a rocket ship taking off, and just the sound in this movie is unbelievable. The sound design is unbelievable, and it just felt I really, when they went from playing "We Will Rock You" to then taking off, and then you can see. I keep saying that when they switched to the shot of the cars on the outside and kind of going around, but when you could see through the front visor of the halo of the car, and you could see the other cars, and the camera's shaking like this. I was levitating. They didn't do it very often, but when they did do it, I was levitating in my seat. I thought that this is what you go to movies for, is to see something like this. So yeah, as far as racing movies go, it's one of the better ones. I keep it up there with it's a little bit below Rush and Ford versus Ferrari for me, but a lot of the same elements are there, where you have the movie stars, you have the great filmmakers attached to it, sort of the work Kaczynski, this workman-like filmmaker, kind of like Ron Howard. Well, that's disingenuous for Ron Howard, but to me, because he's won Academy Awards, but he is sort of this workman-like figure. And James Mangold for Ford versus Ferrari. There's a lot of similarities with these films, but I think the story of those movies, and just the fact that you have Matt Damon, and
also a boomer story.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the fact that you have Matt Damon and Christian Bale going toe to toe in that, and not for nothing, Damson Idris isn't one of those guys yet. But yeah, I thought it was really good, if not contrived. B+ for me. Great cinema. Javier Bardem just wearing. I need his tailor. Whatever his tailor was, he looked awesome. Also, Brad Pitt. Go another button down if you have to.
So good, man.
Man, his shirts were so wide open. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and like mine would be too. You know what I'm saying? He won an Oscar that way.
Yeah, I mean, he looks great. He's in his 60s. Like that's unbelievable. But they do the thing where they do the old guy movie star walking down the track, not once, twice.
Yeah, walking down, like they do a lot of things twice. Like them being like having the catastrophic crash scene. It's like, all right, we didn't need two of those. You know what I'm saying?
Like, they literally did two, and it's like, all right, I guess we're doing this.
Now Brad Pitt's in the hospital. What are we gonna do?
That shit looked dangerous and awesome. Because they really did that shit, man. That could not have been a fun day on set for whoever those star performers were, man. Holy shit!
Double my paycheck. You're gonna make me do what?
That dude was really on fire, bro.
Yeah.
That's cool. I also thought it was just cool as shit when the way you enter the movie, like Brad Pitt's going through his routine, but he like wakes up in the middle of the night because he's gonna drive at night at NASCAR. I guess you drive for 24 hours as your team in NASCAR. It's not something I ever knew was the thing.
It's like a 24 hours of Le Mans or whatever, but for Daytona, which I'd never
knew that was the thing. But that's fucking cool as shit to just have like him wake up in the middle of his trailer, do his routine, put his card in his pocket, and he's just gonna go drive this NASCAR. I thought that was like a very cool way to open the movie. But and also the way that scene is shot, that opening scene is very different than the way that the F1 scenes are shot. I'm sure that's for some level of realism. I just thought that Kaczynski, he's like an engineer, and I thought he just really considered how to make these movies. If you can put cameras onto fucking literal fighter jets and have the actual actors go up in fighter jets and get footage from that has to give you a lot of confidence to make a movie like F1, where it's basically the same concept. You need to get these cameras onto these cars and put these real actors in these cars and make these cars actually go very fast. And he did that very well, and he's the best at that. He has now shown that he's able to do that. It's a very specific type of filmmaking, and he excels at it. And I love that he stayed in his lane. I had a great time with that one. I had a great time with it.
It's so interesting where he is, because he was a guy that did, Oblivion and the Tron remake. And before that, his thing was the Gears of War teaser trailer, the Mad World teaser trailer. If you haven't seen it, it's one of the best video game trailers of all time. But this guy, has anybody had a bigger sort of like, not upgrade, I don't even know what to call it, but he has to be the biggest swinging, biggest swinging dick in any room now, because they're like, you can put cameras where?
Hey, bro spent that time in the pandemic fucking locked in. He did nothing but better himself. There's people who, like, your George R.R. Martins of the world, who wasn't doing shit during the pandemic and like was never finishing those books. But Kaczynski, he was locked in. You know what I'm saying? He was like, we gonna get some shit done.
I'm making hits.
Shit is happening. I'm changing my life.
If George R.R. Martin had locked in for 3 months of the pandemic, those books would be finished by now.
You couldn't make me do shit if I was George R. I'm rich.
Well, that's true too.
True.
Yell at me all you want. I don't care.
Fuck y'all's ending. Y'all saw the show. You got your ending. Leave me the fuck alone.
But then y'all hated the ending I was gonna write. Y'all mad.
My shit was gonna be real trash if y'all didn't like that.
I didn't. I wouldn't have done that ending per se. But you never know.
I gotta say, this will come up in my what we've been watching later. But I fucking love movie star shit in a movie. And Kaczynski understands some movie star shit. He's not like, oh, I want Brad Pitt to disappear into this role. Absolutely not. I want you to be sitting there like, yeah, that's Brad Pitt, buddy. And I fucking love him. And I do. I love Brad Pitt. I don't even remember his character's name. Doesn't matter. It's Brad Pitt.
Yeah. Sonny Hayes.
Sure.
A gambling junkie who lost his shot. Javier Bardem rolls in this movie. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything, but he's just like, he's just there to be big concerned the entire time and sign checks. It's a great role if you can get it.
The Madib.
Yeah.
Sonny Hayes, the Madib.
The Lisa Nagaib.
The Lisa Nagaib.
Yeah. Always pleasant to remember that Damson Idris is British.
Yeah, very.
Yeah.
He doesn't sound like a drug dealer from California. Who knew?
Which really works in F1, obviously, because of the worldwide nature of this movie. We didn't even mention this movie is a fucking romp. They literally are going all around the world. They were actually going to these fucking races and these events and really putting these actors who don't drive cars onto these tracks. That's just so fucking cool to me, bro. That's
your new cell phone paid for a one-way excursion to the Maldives or wherever they were.
It really is crazy seeing this movie finally come out, because for the last couple of years, at the beginning of some of the F1 races, they'd be like, oh yeah, and Brad Pitt's down here filming a movie. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, and there's a couple of if you know sort of thing. Of course, they show all the drivers, some of which may not even be racing anymore, I guess.
They show Lewis a couple times in this movie.
Well, yeah, I don't know. When I saw produced by Lewis Hamilton, I was like, he hadn't won a championship in 10 years. In
4 years, all right, relax.
Oh shit!
He hadn't won a championship in 10 years. You couldn't get Max Verstappen to be the producer of this.
I heard them say Verstappen. Was he actually in the movie? I don't know what he looks.
I don't know, but he did.
Up, yeah.
He was in the movie, and he did flip off Brad Pitt once, I think.
Yeah.
So if that was actually him, I don't know, but that was a kind of funny moment. There's a couple of if you know, you know. It's like, can I meet Carlos Sainz or whatever, and some of that stuff, and of course who's the guy, the race manager that's super famous. I think he's that flips him off at the end of the movie.
Maybe I don't remember everything about
Oh,
this
I
movie.
didn't realize that was a real person.
But yeah, there's a few of the real race managers in here. Toto's in here.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah, Toto's the Mercedes one, and then I don't remember his name is Gunther or Gunter, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in there. Zach Brown's in there, who like is the McLaren guy. Still, I think Christian Horner popped up. Christian Horner just got fired today. So,
Yeah.
you know. R.I.P.
Got in the movie, but no, just an interesting. It's going to be an interesting time capsule. One of whatever technology changes for F1, just like Rush did too. If you watch this movie and you watch Rush, you wouldn't think they're even playing the same. They're even doing the same sport. It's so technology forward. They have rocket scientists in there doing stuff with these cars. It's crazy. The amount of technology
that's like Carrie Condon, I need you to lock in, and she's like, okay, and then she just does.
So I really couldn't tell. I don't know. I understand there's some level of engineering that's really important to F1 and to racing sports generally. Like someone's got to actually put the car together and make the car go as fast as possible. Every little change could cost milliseconds. That could be the difference between victory and losing. I understand that on some level, but I could not tell.
You only spend a certain amount of money, Dex? Isn't there like a cap?
Yeah, there's a cap, and there's like certain restrictions on like what you can do to the car, like kind of like they mentioned, like, you know,
they had like a scandal.
your floorboards aren't like up to code or what, like, yeah, there's like some stuff like that goes into it in real life, but it's
what were you gonna say?
How much of that stuff makes it to the audience is like questionable.
I love the synergy between that aspect of it, which obviously Kaczynski has some aberration for, because there's a lot of that, especially through the Condon character, a lot of that like engineering really matters part of the movie. But also, obviously, our director is quite literally an engineer who's done aerospace engineering. So, like, you could tell this is the part of the movie that he's putting the most direct part of himself into. And I just thought that shit was cool. Like, I just think that Kaczynski knows what he's good at, and he knows how to put movie stars in positions that they are good at. And I just think that the sky's the limit for this guy, because there's nobody that's rivaling him in his lane. It doesn't mean he's not Nolan, right? Like Nolan is in his lane, and you're not going to see Kaczynski try to make a Nolan movie about time. And you're not going to see Nolan, other than using the biggest possible IMAX cameras that he can find, you're not going to see Nolan try to figure out how to put the biggest possible IMAX camera he could find into like a real ship and try to like make it go fast. Like that's not what Nolan's trying to do. And that technical nature of what Kaczynski brings to the table is singular. And I think that makes him so alone in his own lane. I just cannot wait to see what that manifests going forward. I really like this Kaczynski guy.
Yeah, my hot take of the movie, like I said, some of the line delivery and stuff is contrived and also not great at times, and some of the script writing isn't the best. I would say that if Christopher, I think I put in my review on Letterboxd, if Christopher McQuarrie took a pass at this script, kind of like they did for Top Gun, then I think it may have bumped it up a couple of points. That's just my hot take. Is that true or not? I don't know, but yeah, I think that's kind of my hot take about the movie.
Yeah, I'm like proud of what they did making a F1 movie, because like watching actual F1, especially right now, it's kind of like there's people who are good and there's the people who are bad, and like there's really nothing you can do about it mid-season.
Yeah.
You know? So like trying to make like an interesting sports movie plot out of F1 when it's mostly like, you know,
two people win.
Yeah, it's like, okay, is Oscar going to win today from McLaren, or is Lando going to win today from McLaren, or whatever? Yeah. Like, it's really not as like back and forth, obviously, as this shit is, and like you're not going to come out of nowhere and like,
yeah, and the amount of
the
passing
back markers are not going to win a race.
So there's really no parity in F1. Like there's not a lot of parity in it.
Least parity sport ever.
There's parity like sometimes like year to year, kind of. Like last year, Max Verstappen was winning everything, and this year he's not. But like within the year, no, almost no parody whatsoever.
Got it. Once
You
you
can-
see
like,
once
who
you get
the
hot, you
best
stay
team
hot.
is, then it's like they're gonna win. Got it.
Yeah, and I mean, like Red Bull was winning everything because they were literally strapping a jet engine into the middle of their car, and I think other people finally got to do that, or they lowered Red Bull somehow or another. They nerfed him a little bit, but
Red Bull's like head engineer guy went to a different team, and so like that team isn't dominating now, but like the gap between Red Bull and everybody else started to close up once he was no longer like
yeah. I mean,
building rocket ships.
we're getting into the semantics of actual F1, and you said F1 nerds don't say this, but it is funny to if you didn't know anything about F1, you come away from this movie and watch an actual race, and there's far less wrecking in this than I thought. Brad Pitt would have been kicked out of the league. Brad Pitt was doing heinous shit to those racetracks.
They would have beat Brad Pitt to death with hammers.
Yeah, exactly.
After that first race.
Yeah. Crashing on purpose. They would have been, there's like hardly, I mean, maybe I don't actually know, but you know how NASCAR, they're getting in fights in the pit all the time. They would have gotten in major fights after this if he was doing what he was doing.
But yeah, I definitely want to learn to flick cards like Brad Pitt does in this movie. That was the coolest shit ever. And there was like no real reason given for it. He was just like, I feel like he was on set one day and he was like, "Hey, I want to watch me flick cards," and Kaczynski was like, "Hey, that's badass. You're gonna do that in the movie."
Brad Pitt is the king of needing something to do, man. If he's not eating, he has to have a bit. He's flipping cards or whatever,
I need something to do with my hands.
Yeah,
that shit looked like the coolest thing ever when he's flipping those cards. I agree. That shit, not only movie stars can make certain things look cool, and he made that shit look fucking cool.
Yeah. So this will be on Apple. You kind of did, if you didn't see it, if you waited for it to come out on Apple, kind of did yourself a disservice unless you have, like we said about Top Gun, if you have even your Sonos surround sound system and your 85-inch TV is not going to do this justice, honestly.
All 17 people who own the Apple Vision Pro or whatever, this is your time.
Yeah.
This is your moment. This is your.
We should also mention the haptic feedback trailer. Maybe we already mentioned it on the pod, but they put out a
no, I don't think
trailer.
They
put out a haptic trailer where like you put your iPhone up and there's like shaking in response to what you're seeing on screen, and that shit was just cool as hell. I was already all the way in on the F1 experience, but when that dropped, I was like, oh no, Apple's cooking something up over there, and it really lived up to the hype to me. I enjoyed F1.
And quite frankly, I was going to say, quite frankly, they kind of needed it to succeed because Killers of the Flower Moon didn't. I mean, they've been letting filmmakers. They're kind of the Netflix thing where they're just like blank checks for a long time, and I think they're going to push back on that. I mean, this movie was semi-successful. I don't know if it did the numbers that they kind of needed it to do, but like we've been saying, some money is better than no money, and Apple's in the business making money.
I hate that for us because Killers of the Flower Moon is incredible cinema, but it's just nobody saw it.
But their movie products, like, name besides Killers of the Flower Moon, and of course they won the Oscars. So maybe I'm just talking out of my ass, but I just think name one super memorable Apple Plus TV movie or Apple Plus movie besides Killers of the Flower Moon and Coda, and they've been constantly putting them out. But
I don't even like Coda, so I would literally just say for Killers of the Flower Moon and F1 would be my
Y'all
answers.
don't remember Causeway with Jennifer Lawrence and Brian Tyree Henry?
And
also,
they just put
Oscar
out
nominated, by the way.
Yeah, they just put out like a fake Fountain of Youth movie that just with John Krasinski. That was not a real movie. You couldn't convince me that was a real movie.
Y'all don't remember Will Smith's comeback, Emancipation?
No. Never. Nope.
Napoleon happened. That shit sucked.
Yeah, no, that was the other thing that I was going to say. It's like Napoleon tanked and Killers of the Flower Moon, even though we all loved it, tanked. They
Napoleon
needed kind
was
of
the definition of mid. There was some good shit in Napoleon, man, but it was mid.
They just kind of needed a win here, and I think that they did. Dex, what was your last thing? Sorry.
I always knew that Carrie Condon was a good actress, but I didn't know she was like cool and fun until this movie, and she was cool and fun.
Irish?
Time. Yeah, Irish. I've only really I've seen her in other things too, but like Banshees was when I was like, oh yeah, Carrie Condon, she's great, but she's like, I never expected her to be like cool and fun next to Brad Pitt in an action movie, and like she was. So good for her.
Yeah, she's got a little. People keep comparing her a little bit to Rebecca Ferguson, and maybe that's just two women that look alike. But I
They
think
do kind of look alike.
she has a little bit of that charm that you kind of would need in a movie like this, definitely. And not for nothing, a romantic interest for Brad Pitt because
Need those.
yeah. Are we? How? I don't know if we need to do this on this spot or where are we at with Brad Pitt? What happened there?
I do not agree with this. You are not the first person I've heard with this same criticism. I did not feel that at all whatsoever in the movie.
Not in the movie. No, I'm not saying.
No, I'm talking about real life. Like, are we?
Oh.
Did he just skate? Are we good? I don't know.
No, I have no comments because it seems like he beat it. It's over. He already beat it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares. I'm just like, that news came out and we were all just kind of,
That shit went away.
He skated on that shit.
He paid whoever he was supposed to pay, and that shit went away, bro.
And it's fucking crazy because, like, bro, that's Angelina Jolie. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It's not like somebody, not that it should matter who it is, but in terms of how much people care about the story, it definitely matters who it is. And that shit just went away.
Yeah, anyway.
That shit just went away.
That being said, cool to see Brad Pitt on the screen. Yeah, I don't know. I thought he was fine in this movie. He cared way more about the racing than he did the acting. I'll say that.
That makes sense. I think that makes perfect sense. And so did Kaczynski, by the way.
Sound like he a pussy. He not trying to jump in planes with Tom Cruise and shit. Which, like, dude,
Tom Cruise showed up to that in the bad body language police on this. He did not want that motherfucker there at his premiere. I'm the bad body language doctor, like Bill Simmons. I'm sitting there going like, "Ugh."
Hey man, come jump out these planes. Be a real actor. All right, what are we talking about?
Be a real actor. Tell you what would save the Mission Impossible franchise: Brad Pitt making an appearance.
He's just the next Ethan Hunt.
No, we don't need another 60-year-old Ethan Hunt. I'm just saying that last movie was kind of weird and boring for a big chunk of it.
If Brad Pitt agreed today to be in the next Mission Impossible movie, they'd reboot that shit tomorrow. They'd be right back on set jumping off of some shit tomorrow. They can't.
You gotta get him to agree to jump off shit. But it looks like just give it to Glenn Powell. That Running Man trailer looked like fire.
I'm there.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in.
Also, bro, how many fucking Stephen King books are there? Like, Jesus Christ.
A lot. He did a lot of cocaine.
He is nothing like George R. Martin. He got that dog in him, bro.
Putting numbers up, man.
Dude, he's never had a book. I think he wrote that one under a pseudonym, maybe, but like he's never had an idea that didn't put pen to paper.
Bro,
he's getting them out there.
I don't remember which movie it was for, but like I was watching whatever trailers, and it was like the Running Man trailer showed, and then that like Long Walk trailer showed, or what? It's like, bro, like Stephen King, relax. He probably is relaxed now.
Yeah, he lives in Rhode Island. He's living a great life, or not Rhode Island, Maine. He's living a great life. That Long Walk movie
those
looks
states
disgusting.
are the same thing. Those states are the same thing. Maine and Rhode Island are the same state.
Sure.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
That might as well be like Houston and Dallas.
He wrote The Shawshank Redemption, something that people forget. The Green Mile.
Jesus.
Yeah. So you want to talk about a perfectly fine movie?
I guess we're going to do that.
T just shaking his head. Come on, we got to talk about it. We all saw it.
Not perfectly fine. That's not true.
I really want to hear why you hate this movie so much. I
mean, Jurassic World Rebirth, PG-13, 6.3 on IMDb. 5 years post Jurassic World Dominion, a god awful movie. That movie stinks.
That shit's poop from a butt.
Shitty doo-doo caca. That thing is awful. An expedition braves isolated equatorial regions to extract DNA from 3 massive prehistoric creatures for a groundbreaking medical breakthrough. Directed by Gareth Edwards. written by David Koepp. He wrote the first 2 Jurassic Park movies, I'm pretty sure. Stars Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, in his like first role in forever. Jonathan Bailey, Rupert Friend, and Manuel Garcia Rolfo. You've seen Rolfo. You've seen him in some stuff. Magnificent Seven, I believe, with what you would probably know for.
That's your seen him in stuff movie? Is Magnificent Seven?
That was a big movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, if you were to tell me, oh, you've seen this guy in some stuff?
Widows.
Like 2008,
I fucking love Widows.
2016's Magnificent Seven, I'd be like, oh, okay.
It was a Denzel Washington movie. You watched that movie.
$162 million at the box office.
Yeah. That's a windfall for something. I'm not backing down on this thing. People have seen him in Magnificent
Jurassic World made that in 2 days.
Yeah, because it's Jurassic World. What are we talking about?
It's not a big movie.
It is a big movie.
The Jurassic World has made so much fucking money. It has made so much money.
So yeah, Ed Skrein's also in this movie. He was in Deadpool. I think people would know him from a big movie.
It's
that is a big movie. Yeah.
it's y'all's fault that they make these movies so shitty because everybody's gonna go see them anyway. The amount of money they're making is ridiculous. It's y'all's fault. This film fucking stinks, bro.
Is this where we say that you were illegally watching this shit?
I bootlegged this movie because I refused to fund them until
That's why you didn't like it. You didn't feel anything in the theater.
This shit fucking stinks, bros. I understand the last movie was disgustingly bad. I agree. I shit on that movie. It's bad. This movie is worse, and I'm gonna tell you why.
No.
This movie is worse. I'm gonna tell you why. There's a sequence in the last movie where they're on the ice and there's a dinosaur out there, and it is fucking cool. And for that 3 minutes, I can legitimately say, man, I'm having a good time for this 3 minutes.
And then nothing happened.
There is no 3 minutes of this movie that made me feel anything at all except for utter boredom.
You were scrolling Twitter while watching this. What are you talking about?
For the first 45 minutes of this movie, my phone wasn't even in the same room as me. I almost fell asleep about 7 times. Then we get to, this movie is shockingly nonviolent. There is actually no violence in this film.
That is true.
Most of the people in this film survive, and the people that do die, a lot of them die off screen or they die bloodlessly. Like they just disappear. Oh, they're just under the water now. They're gone. Like I know this is a PG-13 movie. It's only PG-13 because there are some dinosaurs in it that are trying to kill people, but it's actually a PG movie. Like this is a shockingly nonviolent movie. The interactions between Mahershala and Scarlett Johansson, they probably have 3 conversations. They mean nothing. That's 2 of the hottest people to ever exist. We should feel something when they're on screen together. I felt literally nothing. They do a fake out where Mahershala's character is killed at the end of this film. He makes a sacrifice to save the rest of the team at the end of this film. And then he pops the fuck back up at the end like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, I survived. Everybody fucking survived this movie. This movie stinks. It wasn't funny. It doesn't look great. The CGI is mid. The dinosaurs don't look that cool.
You watched this off of somebody's camera phone.
And let me just say, there is no scene where the dinosaurs
doesn't look good. Somebody's shaking hands or holding the phone. What are you talking about?
The best parts of the previous Jurassic Park movies are more parts where the dinosaurs also fight each other. These fucking dinosaurs don't fight each other in this movie. They're just chasing humans, and 99% of the time they're chasing humans, they're unsuccessful. They got a fucking group of a whole family in a little grocery store looking thing, and they're able to outsmart a fucking dinosaur. None of them die. I was just like, why am I watching this film? Well, I'm not watching. I don't have a bloodthirst. I don't want everybody to die just because I'm in a dinosaur movie. But I want some fucking people to die in my dinosaur movie. Like
it sounds like you want everybody to die.
I want to see some blood.
We killed like 8 people.
No, we didn't. We killed like 3 people across an hour and a half film.
I think it was 4 people. Yeah,
bro, we killed a shockingly small amount of people in the first Jurassic Park movie. 4 people die in like the first 10 minutes of that movie, bros. Like, what are we? I feel like this franchise is. Where are we? What are we doing? Are we not? Why are we back into Jurassic World? The whole concept of Jurassic World makes no sense at all. And it severely lowers the stakes when the whole world is your playing ground versus Jurassic Park, where everybody was stuck in a theme park. You can't really get away. You're stuck in that theme park. The dinosaurs are in there. It's just you and them. Being in the whole, like, there was nothing about this film that worked for me whatsoever. I will cop to the fact that I did watch it a bootleg, although it was a particularly great copy. I did watch a bootleg, so I cannot speak to being in the theater and having excitement. But this made me feel unalive. Superman made me feel alive. I was living and breathing with Superman, and it's not like their movie had to be as good as Superman. But I really felt like cinema had died. And I watched this movie I started this movie before Superman. I got bored to shit. I turned it off, but I said, I got to be a good host for the One Take Podcast. I have to finish this fucking movie. And God, am I sad that I did so, because this movie fucking stinks. I gave it half a star on Letterboxd, and I was not trolling.
Whoa!
I gave it half a star.
Jesus.
I felt nothing for this film. I'm sorry, Scarlett and Mahershala. I love you guys. This movie's a piece of shit. I will forget about this movie as soon as we stop recording this podcast. I give it half a star. This shit stinks, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I will forget about it too, but it's not a half a star movie.
Half a star.
Half a star.
Crazy.
I'd rather
That's
watch the
crazy.
I'd rather watch The Materialist, and I know people were shitting on The Materialist. I'd much rather see that shit than this. This is
Duh.
This is on the Fast 10 level of holy shit. This movie is a fucking tank job. That's how I felt. That's how I felt, bros. That's how I felt.
I don't know, dude.
I'd rather watch. What's that movie? What's that? The guy who directed The Godfather, that movie he made last year. I'd rather watch that. I'd much rather watch Megalopolis again than this film. I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm
Wonder
not
Woman
trolling.
84.
I'm not. Oh god. Okay, that's a tough one. Wait, I've actually never seen Wonder Woman 84. I only saw the first one. I was like, I don't like this, and I didn't watch the second one. Would I rather watch Wonder Woman 84?
One of my least.
I'm going to pick
favorite
Wonder
movies
Woman
I've ever
84
done
just
this
because
pod.
I've never seen it. Only because I've never seen it. I'm going to pick that because I'd rather watch that than watch this.
One of the worst movies we've ever reviewed on this
It's
podcast.
awful, man. God awful. It ain't that though.
Brave New World?
Huh?
Tease?
Oh god, that is a good question. I would honestly rather watch Brave New World again than watch this film. I'm dead serious.
Crazy
I'm not
talk.
trolling. I'm not trolling. I swear to God, I'm not trolling. I really
That's
feel that way.
wild, man. As much
Harrison
as-
Ford shows up in Brave New World. I mean, he's mailing it in, but at least he's there.
and Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali are in this.
I mean,
What are
look,
you talking
Scarlett
about?
Johansson and Mahershala Ali look fucking smoking hot gorgeous in this film. That's
It
the
is.
only compliment I can give this film. Scarlett Johansson is so sexy, but it gives me nothing. Also, I don't quite know what she brought to the table in terms of like her character's job, her character's expertise. What was she good at? She like hit one shot that was like a great shot, but what else did she do that made her like, oh, this is why
After
they brought her
she
here?
missed, by the way, which
Yeah,
is
after she
crazy.
missed first. Like, I was like, okay, so what is actually the special talents that Scarlett Johansson has that are going to pay her $10 million to come do this job? She just felt like another person on the journey. She didn't feel any better or any. She's supposed to have a moment like in Ballerina. Ballerina showed I might be getting my ass whooped by John Wick, but otherwise I'm him. I'm her, bro. I'm cooking in here. I never had that moment with her character in this film.
She also didn't bring guns. What kind of mercenary doesn't have guns?
You're
Instead of
going
people-
to fight dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Instead of people being mad that Superman is an alien, which has quite literally always been the case, by the way, they should be mad that this movie is the most anti-Second Amendment movie of all time. There are no guns in this movie. There are dinosaurs everywhere, and y'all don't have no kind of fucking guns, bro. That doesn't make any sense.
One gun that a guy finds by accident.
Pulled up to giant dinosaur island with just a pistol.
With a pistol, bro. When he pulled out that pistol, I said, bro, you have you lost your fucking mind? That's a dinosaur, bro.
Man, yeah, I would have a bazooka, especially for that last dinosaur thing that they encounter. It's going to sound like I don't like this movie when I talk about it, but just know
You shouldn't like this movie.
that it's fine. It's fine. It's not good and it's not bad, which is kind of a bad place to be for a once sought after film IP franchise. I guess the rest of the
And
movies
we
always
do mean once. The
Yeah.
one time.
It's
the one
still sought
time.
after. Yeah, that shit made $1 bajillion again. They're gonna keep doing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, when the last one made $1 billion and it was a stinky doo-doo fart, like I thought that it was, I thought we had kind of died a little bit. No, they made this one 3 years after that movie. They got it out there. Um, I it I you know I don't feel like I care about the corporations are bad thing. We know, and we knew back in 1995 when they made the first movie, or 93. When did the first movie come out? Doesn't matter. Whenever they made the first movie, and they're like, corporations don't have your best interests at heart. When Michael Crichton wrote that 40 years ago. Yeah, I Dress Part 1993. So, look, I mean, it gives you a plot device to get back to the island instead of, doing whatever they were doing in the last movie, where the corporation was still around doing some fuckery. But, I think if this movie now, then no one would have died, because what they don't do in these movies is kill families and kids. They just have never done it. The kids are
Which,
literally
like,
superhumans.
good.
They're
I would
invincible.
not like
Yeah,
that.
look, there's a movie in here that I think could have been, if it was just the family, or if it was just the Johansson crew, would have been a better movie. I kind of lean to the fact that if it was just the family who get shipwrecked and abandoned on this island and it's almost like a horror movie, then I feel like that is a better
That's
film.
A way better movie. That's a
film
way better
all in
movie.
all. And then you have an excuse but then you don't have, how do we set up that, that the dinosaurs are still only in this one place, and why would they be out there anyway? I mean, you can kind of do that now. Why are they sailing in waters that have dinosaurs in them? Wouldn't be me.
To fix heart disease.
They addressed that by having Mahershala be mad at the family for about 19 seconds. And they're like, all right, let's go on with the plot. Let's go.
So that's kind of my big takeaway, is that I don't care about Johansson's character and Mahershala's character and Jonathan Bailey, who I think is pretty good in this movie. But I don't care that they're trying to, whatever corporation fuckery that they're doing, or we're going to open source this medicine and double cross the money and all this stuff. I don't really care. I cared more about the family, the stuff with the family where they're walking through the forest. And I think a lot of Gareth Edwards' best stuff, especially with the T-Rex and all that, and the T-Rex stalking them through the water, and that sort of stuff, is when Gareth Edwards was really cooking. Again, Gareth Edwards, great visual filmmaker, let down by a shitty script. I don't know how many times we're going to keep saying that, because it's been kind of 3 in a row now, where
Also,
we're like,
Gareth,
at what point
Gareth
are
is
you
not
the
a
problem?
real name. You can't. Gareth is not a name. You're either Garrett or you're something else. You're Gary. Gareth is quite literally not a real name.
A lot of British folks are named Gareth.
Hey, the Brits got this one wrong. Gareth is not a real name. That's not a thing.
The British do it. Not a great defense for anything.
Fair. No, I just think the script wasn't very good. I do think that Mahershala and Scarlett, while game for the movie, it and they could only save so much of this bad writing, but it does feel like they kind of, especially in the scenes when they're trying to delay or relay their backstory and stuff, it seems like they did that in one take, and they're like, no, we're good. At times they were kind of bad to me personally.
Hey, remember when my mom died? Yeah. Remember when my son died? All right, let's move on.
Yeah, they did like one take of that.
Hey, you know what I did? I skipped my mom's funeral. Ooh, man. I was like, can we please get, like, guys, I know that being on this movie set's probably not that fun, but at least you get to look at Mahershala or get to look at her all, like, take that as the blessing. Please give us
something. They got paid $10 million to do this movie.
Yeah, come on, give us something, guys. They also have no chemistry whatsoever, and there's no, like, sexual chemistry, but I don't mean sexual chemistry. I mean, like, human chemistry or any kind of chemistry at all. I just didn't think that they had any. And also, ScarJo kind of has no chemistry with anyone that was on this entire movie set.
I think she had a little with Jonathan Bailey. There was a little there.
You can tell that's like a kiss.
Yeah,
I didn't. but there is a little there. She was a little sexy with him when he's saying I've never been shot at before, but at that moment I knew that he was going to take a villainous turn. Like it was very predictable that was going to happen. He lets like a teenage woman fall off the boat, and then he's just like, "Oh well, that took care of that problem. I'm not going to help you." But I knew that she wasn't going to die because, like Royden said, they never kill kids in this franchise. They just don't do that.
They put them in peril, and they're
you're supposed to scare you, but it's like for you and your kids to go see. But I think that's the big problem. Jurassic Park should be a rated R movie, and I know that the first one's not a rated R movie. But for these things to be
pretty brutal. I was watching clips of it last night.
It's
a pretty brutal movie.
It's a violent movie. The first Jurassic Park is violent. It's nasty. It's brutal at times. This movie is so sanitized. It's like you don't actually want to see someone's body. There are points in this franchise where someone gets their body bit in half, and you see both parts of the body fall separately from the mouth of the dinosaur. There's nothing like that in this movie.
Yeah, and
I mean that guy's hand fell off, which was cool.
Meh, you knew
that happened in real life on 4th of July. Somebody blew their hand off in the fire. I can see that shit anytime on the internet. You got to give me something better if I walk into a fucking movie theater. Give me a break.
Yeah. So I personally thought it looked pretty good. But I was watching clips of the original Jurassic Park last night, and we got away from those animatronic plus CGI is the way to go. The all CGI thing kind of gets lost a little bit now because you can just fake. But the original T-Rex head coming out and looking into the car and all that stuff is crazy. What Spielberg was able to do with that movie in the mix of CGI, and they basically invented it for that movie. But I don't know. I think Gareth Edwards does have some really cool visual style and can put actors into awesome action set pieces, and he does that really, really well. I just don't know if he knows how to direct people during dialogue at all. And that was kind of a big letdown of the movie. But I mostly came away having an okay time with it. I wish it would have been the kid thing would have been a separate movie, or the family thing would have been a separate movie, or the mercenary thing would have been a separate movie. But it is what it is. I'm glad we're back on the island and not in Montana or wherever they were for the second or third movie, and dinosaurs are on in the mountains. I'm good with being back on the island. It is contrived to get them back there, but I don't know. I was fine. What really spoiled it for me was a woman was literally, I've never seen this before, watching Instagram reels with the sound on in the middle of the movie theater.
Nah, dog.
What?
Swear to God.
I'm sure she was bored to tears. I mean, I don't blame her for that.
No, it was 15 minutes into the movie.
I'm snitching. I don't care.
She eventually put it down, but like she also had her ringtone on. Then somebody was coming, like her family or her friends were coming up to her and like talking to her over the edge of the seats, like, "Hey, can I get my phone?" And da 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 da. And they just were talking, having a conversation, like over the edge of this other seat, just talking to each other. But I looked over, and I'll send a text message during the movie, but it's like, boom, get it done. Put my phone up, put it on.
Screen's real dark.
Yeah, exactly. Put the screen down real dark because I get embarrassed if that flash screen comes up in my, super bright face, just like boom. But she just straight up had our brightness all the way on and was watching Instagram reels. I had never seen anything like it. So that takes some points away from this movie.
Deserves. Gareth, you deserve that. I hope you take that as a personal affront. You deserved it.
Jesus.
It's fine, man. I don't know but
what grade you give it, Garrett or Royden?
C+. I'm not it's not like I'm super high on the movie. I just think there's some cool stuff. Could have definitely been better. Was an improvement from the last heap of garbage that we got with Chris Pratt. But I think it's kind of below the first movie and the third movie for me, but sort of above most of the Jurassic Worlds, I think, and maybe even above the second movie, which I don't think is super great. I mean, there's a place in my heart for it because I saw it when I was 7, but I think those last two Jurassic World movies. Jurassic World, the reboot is fun, but those last two with Chris Pratt were on a front. I thought those things were god awful.
The last one especially was like,
Yeah,
what are we doing, man?
yeah. We're crossbreeding people with. She's a clone dinosaur thing, and I just thought, I just thought that was stupid. Big Tim Apple was the bad guy. They brought all the cast back just for them to suck. Yeah,
There has
That was
not been
such
a single
shit
good
ass
movie
shit.
where Tim Apple is the villain. Like,
Facts.
we keep
Yeah.
trying to do this, like, and Elon Musk is the villain of Superman, which, like, that works, that's fine. But Tim Apple, like, it's just not. He is a villain in real life, but like, he's just not a compelling villain in a movie. We can't do that anymore.
yeah. At least this guy was like the representative of a pharmaceutical firm, but he's just the most one-note bad guy. You're like, that guy's gonna die. And TJ, to a point, I do agree with you, and I'm going long on this, mid-tier movie. But to a point, I do agree with you. They literally don't kill anybody except for the tertiary characters in this movie. That's crazy.
If you know their name, they're not dying.
Yeah. Especially the fake out with Mahershala at the very end. I thought that was cheap and bad. I actually like leaned over to Kayla and said,
That
boo.
was so
I said
fucking
boo.
nasty,
Like,
bro.
like I don't want to see
Yeah.
Mahershala die, but come on. Like,
Y'all know how I feel about a fake death in a movie or TV show. I was disgusted when that
I
shit
immediately
happened.
told her, I was like, he's not dead. And it's not like they waited very long. It was 2 minutes later.
Literally like 3 minutes later, it was like, oh yeah, I'm good, guys.
And it wasn't even like they like cut to him and he's like struggling to survive on this beach or something the next morning. They're like, oh no, we're getting him in the boat right now.
Yeah, he's like in the boat with us. We're good.
But I thought it looked cool. I mean, him running away with the red flare and that crazy looking monster. Somebody said in our Twitter mentions it looked like the alien that comes out of the chest in Alien. A
Yeah,
little
it
bit.
did.
So it does kind of look like that. But I thought that thing was scary, and that filming him with the flare running away and the dinosaur lit up by the flare, like that's the sauce, man. Gareth Edwards has it in him somewhere, but the rest of the stew is a collection of really good set pieces, but the rest of the stew isn't quite there. C+ for me, I think. I've had a worse time in the movies, including the last Captain America movie, which is worse than this movie.
Would you rather watch this movie or God, I had it. I fucking forgot it. Damn it, never mind. I had it. I had a perfect either or for you. I'll remember it.
Probably this movie. I don't know.
No, you were gonna have to pick the other movie. I was gonna put you in the corner and force you to pick the other movie.
Dex?
Yeah, for me, like pretty similar to what you were saying, Royden. I thought it was fine. Like, people who have asked me about it, I've been like, if you thought the trailer looked cool or whatever, then like, yeah, fuck it, whatever, you'll be fine. I'm glad I didn't pay out of pocket to watch this movie. Like, however much IMAX tickets cost these days or whatever. Glad I didn't spend that. Glad I'm on the AMCA list, But yeah, ScarJo, she's like just cashing checks. This.
Well, she actively always wanted to be in a Jurassic Park movie. She campaigned to get into this movie, basically.
It does not show in her performance. Because ScarJo is funny. Like, we've seen her be funny, even in like Jojo Rabbit. She has moments of being funny.
She is not funny in this film at all.
She's not funny at all. And like, you can tell that she's making jokes. And like, I was in a packed theater because this shit did gangbusters over the like long weekend. I was in a packed theater, like nobody laughed. There were a couple of like, oh haha, like haha, she's telling a joke. Not haha, I think it's funny, but like, yeah, the script is humorless basically. We talked.
She
about
also
how
just
bloodless it
delivers
is.
the jokes weird too. Yeah, the ones that she does that. But anyway,
this movie's probably better if they kill the dad. Like,
yeah,
just being real.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to just kill the dad.
Kill the dad, kill Mahershala. This is a better movie.
Or the boyfriend. I thought he was cooked. They just didn't do anything with it. They're just like, nope.
Yeah, the boyfriend you had to cook early. You couldn't cook him late, but the dad you could have cooked late. Like, yeah, that first scene when like their ship like first overturns or whatever, they could have killed the boyfriend right then, but when they didn't, it's like, okay, you got to let him make it to the end. But the dad, they could have killed it at any point. It would have been a much better movie. I gotta say, starting the movie being like, oh yeah, nobody cares about dinosaurs anymore. They're all just like in the equator now, and nobody gives a fuck. I was like, that sucks. Actually,
Yeah.
that's a really bad setup for this movie. I
The
don't
movie is
like
called
that.
Jurassic World, and then literally in the first 5 minutes, you learn that the Jurassic World is quite literally just one bed around the
I feel like
Yeah,
they've
nobody
done that.
cares. We're over it.
I feel like
'Cause,
they've
like-
done that a couple of times where they'd be like, nobody, in a couple of these movies, I swear to God, they're like, nobody cares about these dinosaurs anymore. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they're dinosaurs. There's a Brontosaurus in Central Park.
People are gonna
forget
care.
I forget what the second Chris Pratt movie is called. It doesn't matter. But like the end of that movie is like the clone girl releasing all the dinosaurs into the world, and it's supposed to like end society. Like
Yeah,
you're
so
supposed to.
it's literally supposed to be the end of humans as we know it.
We thought that the last movie was going to be sort of a Last of Us world,
Like an apocalypse fucking-
movie, and they
everything
just
is over.
totally. We're just living in
That's
turn
where
with
they
the
need to
dinosaurs.
It's just a
go.
traffic jam.
Yeah,
Like,
That's where
what
they
the
need
fuck?
to go. That's why Planet of the Apes works, because once the apes are free and once the apes are smart, it
It's
is
over.
wartime. It is no, we getting y'all the fuck out of here before y'all get us the fuck out of here. That's why
Streets
those
is
movies work.
Done. Like that shit rules. But yeah, they were just like, oh yeah, nobody really cares about dinosaurs anymore. They just like cause traffic jams and everyone's annoyed. No one comes to the museums, whatever. Like
Right.
that sucks. Don't start your movie that way. Like, don't fucking do
There's,
that.
I was actively thinking that. Thank you for saying that, Dex, because it was they're dinosaurs. What are you talking about?
But I will say, like, to like that point though, it is kind of hard to be like awed by dinosaurs on screen anymore, especially when they're CGI and like clearly fake. Like,
Yeah,
seeing a giant T-Rex on screen in 1993 or whatever, like that shit was like groundbreaking, and no one ever thought it would feel like that. But y'all have made like 25 of these movies, man. Like, just
that's why
making
they
the
tried to do the genetic mutation shit to like invent aliens, basically. That they
now it's
couldn't-
got a weird head. Like,
Yeah.
okay, man. Like, like it's not. I think we're done, man. We didn't have to have a rebirth. We can just end Jurassic World. This can be over.
I don't know where there's like not a direct sequel core or path for this. Anyway, continue, Dex. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can just end this franchise, at least for now. Y'all can bring it back in like 20 years or something. We can start it back up after.
I'm a little interested about, because I was thinking the same thing after we all walked out of the last movie. I'm sure y'all were thinking like me. We really got to take a break. At least we got to take a break. Like let's take a break. Let's wait 5 to 7 years. So to see it pop back up in 3 years, one just tells you how much money these movies make. They literally feel like they can't. Like, even though because people were shitting on that movie, it made a lot of money, but people were like, "We hate this." Like, it was everybody hated this film, and so to get that kind of backlash on a movie, usually that means you take a break from the franchise. Look at the Rise of Skywalker. We haven't got a Star Wars movie since that shit happened. That's how negative the fan reaction was to that film. Not saying this movie is as bad as the Rise of Skywalker. I would watch this again before I watched the Rise of Skywalker, by the way.
Yeah,
but. The Rise of Skywalker actively pissed me off. I was in the theater legitimately angry watching that film.
As someone who will probably never watch either of these movies again, I think I would pick Rise of Skywalker over.
Oh, it's so bad, man. It's so bad.
They legitimately were like, let's kill Chewbacca. That's what we're writing into the script of this movie. In the worst fucking Star Wars movie you've ever seen, let's kill Chewbacca. Fuck them forever making that film. But anyway, it's weird to see it pop back up in 3 years, but it's like, as where we are, bro. These movies make so much money, they're just going to keep making them, and they don't have any fresh ideas. There's no fresh idea in this movie about the way we set the plot up. It's the same. It's literally the same. There's an evil company. There's a band of outlaws that are really just scientists and nerds that know something about dinosaurs. But at least we had Chris Pratt, who was like, I'm the dinosaur whisperer. I can talk to dinosaurs. I can make them see what to do. He has a superpower. Even though that shit was like trash to see him do on screen, like we understand he has a superpower. What does Scarlett Johansson do? What can she do? Can she put her hand up and talk to the dinosaurs too, like Chris Pratt, or does she not have that DLC yet? Like, what are we doing with these movies?
Yeah, nah, she ain't done that yet. You know what this movie feels like? This feels like, you know how in open world games, so those side missions where it's like, oh, in this part of the map, you have to collect 7 gold stars to like unlock this challenge. It's like we have to collect 3 samples to unlock this part of the map, and then you can see all the challenges on this mini map.
One's
Like,
in the water, one's in the air, one's terrestrial. It's like, come on, bro.
It's like a Far Cry video game.
Yeah.
this shit sucks. Actually, like everything about this is just so formulaic and stupid and bad. But then you watch it and you're like, oh, there's a big ass like fish dinosaur that's about to eat them. That's cool. And then, like,
I'm telling you,
oh, they're fighting a fucking, I forget what they call it, the flying one, but like they're in its cage and they have, or its nest, and they have to try and escape this nest. They're about to fall off a cliff. That's cool. Like, all the set pieces are good. They probably should have just killed some people in some of those set pieces. People whose like names that we had heard before. But because of the set pieces, I can't give this movie lower than like a C minus. Like it was
like the stuff with the T-Rex and the raft is unbelievable. I thought that all that stuff was really, really good.
and I know that this child has plot armor. I know that, but I was still like, oh my god!
When the
her.
teeth are coming through the top of the thing, I was like, that's cool, man. Really, really cool.
Like every single time, like a dinosaur shows up, there's a set piece, and I'm like, I have to know what happens next. I have to sit here locked in. And I liked her little pet. That was cute. I love that. We should give more kids pets in the movie.
The Babu Frick or whatever from
Chris in the comments says it was a good movie. I could not. You are the problem, Chris. You are the problem. This is why they're going to make one of these movies every 3 years, whether we like it or not. This is what's happening. Y'all going to keep fucking seeing these movies. I'm about to stop watching these movies.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Yes, I really am. I feel the same way I feel about Planet of the Apes, except for Planet of the Apes has given us pretty much every movie has been good, except for the last one that people like, and I legitimately hate it. I literally hated it. But they have only given me one slap in the face. Jurassic Park franchise has slapped me in the face way more times than they've actually given me something.
The last Planet of the Apes movie was mad decent. I thought the last one.
I thought it was good.
People liked it. I know I am on the island there. I legitimately hated it. But they've only given me one movie that I don't like. I like all the other movies in the franchise.
Jurassic World needs their Prey moment where it's like
they need Matt Reeves.
We just we stripped it down. We've got a 90-minute dinosaur movie that's going straight to streaming.
Yeah.
It's some like horror shit kind of. Like
these need to be, they're thrillers, obviously, and like action they need to be the scariest shit that you've ever seen.
Yeah.
And they're not. And because they want to get asses in seats, and they know that they will. They made $340 million. But
they're supposed to be fun times at the movie theater with your kids, but they need to make something legitimately scary to where people will be scared about bringing their kids there. That's where they need to go.
You know what? You could actually just make Prey with Amber Midthunder and all, but they're dinosaurs instead of predators.
she has to fight a velociraptor.
Hey, call Amber Midthunder. We love her. Her against a velociraptor.
Dan Trachtenberg, I got a script for you, buddy.
Like, come on down.
Brandon, how are you saying I sound like a hater when you literally tweeted earlier in the space the thing that Jurassic Park needs to go extinct? I thought you were on my side. I thought this hate was justified, bro.
I also thought he was on your side.
Yeah, this is crazy. Usually the way you traded on me is crazy.
But Jurassic World Dominion was the worst. Yeah, that is true.
I mean, I will agree that Jurassic World Dominion was the worst. But if I have to pick one scene from either of these two movies, I'm easily picking that ice scene. That shit was cool. I was very into
picking the raft.
That ice thing was fucking cool.
I was locked in for the raft.
I will give some credit for the raft thing because when she put the raft up and then put it back down and the T-Rex had camouflage, it could disappear. I thought that was kind of cool. I will give him credit for that.
I'm saying Gareth Edwards has some sauce. It just, needs
somebody to direct
very bad movies.
He's directed 3 of them now?
No, this is his first. He was he did
The Creator.
He did The Creator. He did Rogue
this is
One.
The Creator guy. I'd much rather watch The Creator, even though the plot of that movie kind of stinks too.
I mean, he did Rogue One, which is an awesome movie.
Rogue One fucks.
Rogue One is literally even better now because of talk about synergistic IP. Andor is fucking awesome.
But this has a lot in common. I mean, this has way more, set pieces and stuff going on than his Godzilla movie. But it has a lot in common with the Godzilla movie too, that he made, where you're just kind of like, people don't talk like real people. There's some awesome set pieces. The main characters have the biggest plot armor that they could have ever had, except for I think Bryan Cranston dies in that movie though.
Yeah, one of them dies.
But it just kind of feels like that. I mean, and he had a movie called Monsters from 2010, which got him the Godzilla job, which in turn got him the Rogue One job. But you watch Rogue One and you're just, there's no way that this guy doesn't have the sauce. You know what I keep saying that. Like, there's no way. He just needs somebody to write him a good script. That's all I'll say about it. Tony Gilroy. Write him another script, man.
Tony Gilroy and write the next Jurassic Park movie. I'm back in. Tony Gilroy, please write a Jurassic Park movie. Let Gareth direct it. We can have some fun. We can have some fun. I'll be back in the movie theater for that.
Jurassic Park, but fascism.
They're just gonna keep cutting checks to like hot actresses that I love, and I'm just gonna be right back, bro. Like Sydney Sweeney's gonna be in this like franchise at some point.
You put Sydney Sweeney into this franchise, I'm also back. I'm in.
Adriana Arjona is just gonna be in this movie next.
Yeah, it's gonna be like we're just gonna get every attractive person that's ever lived.
Let's do that. Let's just have a band of women and no men go out there together, and everybody's the hottest possible person. And they go out there, and I'm just like, yeah, let's see what happens out there. Let's go. I'm into that.
Isn't that what was that? What was that movie that?
You can't say Jurassic Park 3 was the best, Chris.
No,
Jurassic Park.
People would shit a brick if they were just like they Ghostbustered this thing.
Chris just said that Jurassic Park 3 was the best. Have you ever heard of a film? It's called Jurassic Park. It's perfect.
The original one from 1993.
Literally the most perfect film to ever exist. If you're saying it's the best sequel, I think that's fine.
I said an all-woman team of Jurassic Park. That's just Annihilation from Alex Garland.
Oh, yeah, I guess that is literally Annihilation.
I mean, but people like Annihilation. That's
which fucking rules. That shit rules.
No, I just think.
What if Alex Garland is bad? Actually, have we explored that?
28 weeks later rocks.
I like Warfare.
Did we talk about 28 weeks later on this?
28 years.
I still haven't.
28 years later.
The 28 years later trailer is so fucking phenomenal that I forgot that I really don't like this franchise that much. I like the first two movies, but I don't love them. I don't love them at all.
I watched the first one for the first time right before seeing 28 years. Meh.
28 years rocks. I don't know.
Is 28 years good? I still haven't seen it, but I need to.
Meh.
Brandon said that Anya Taylor-Joy should be the pterodactyl whisperer.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Sold.
I don't have much more to talk about this film. I mean, it's going to make $600 million. I said in the group chat, and I don't even know how wide it is overseas. These things do numbers overseas. The last one we said, Stinky Doo Doo Fart, $1 billion movie.
Yeah.
Insane, man.
Oh, we should mention that technically Scarlett Johansson is the highest grossing movie star ever now because of this movie.
The fact that this is the movie that put her over the threshold is pretty hilarious to me.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Because she did this for a check.
She kind of told Disney to like suck her dick a little bit because like
which like good. We love that.
Swag her up.
You know, because she sued them, they paid her money to kind of go away, and then she comes out and it's gonna have one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
People keep trying to play her, man. Like the AI people tried to play her, Disney tried to play her. She's not going, bruh. Like she is not to be played with.
Yeah, she could play an Asian, and nobody really gets that mad. I think people were actually mad about that, but you know,
they were fucking pissed.
They were, but she skated. Like
she skated. She was like, "Oh my bad, I didn't know I couldn't do that."
Literally, my fault, OG. And that was it.
Yeah, different time. My bad. Yeah. So, yeah, go see it or don't. Wait till Superman and Fantastic Four come out, which we're definitely going to talk about. So, what are we watching?
We're watching fucking Superman. We're watching fucking Superman.
Like
we are back.
We are fucking back. It's time to put some respect on James Gunn's name.
You know we're back because they got people talking about it on Fox News.
Yeah, that's
We've never been more back.
By the way,
They alienated half of their audience. And like, I don't know. I think people are going to go see Superman.
Yeah, if you get offended by like the politics of this movie, you're just a bitch, honestly. Like there's no other way around it. Like like the whole immigrant thing.
You don't like anything. You don't like anything?
If you are offended by the politics of the movie, you are a bitch. There's no other like way to slice that up. We'll get more into this on the podcast episode we do about this. But
Dex said that the villain of this movie is Elon Musk, which is true, but also the villain of this movie is Benjamin Netanyahu. And the funniest thing about the backlash for this movie is that they're actually the issue that they shouldn't be mad about because it's literally in the source material. They're actually spending more time on that than the issue they could probably be mad about, which is like if you're a Zionist, you probably wouldn't love this film. The only group of people that could be like, oh, this film, we should boycott that. It should be Zionists. Zionists should boycott this film because it's not a great look on you guys. I don't know why the fucking random Donald Trump fans are mad. They just want something to be mad about. Superman has been.
They don't make Superman for me. The ICE agent.
I'm not the bad guy.
Stephen Miller quite literally said, I don't want to see this movie anymore because James Gunn made Superman an immigrant. He said those words.
Let me tell you something. I don't think you can immigrate from further away than another universe.
What the fuck kind of country do we live in where someone can go say that in public and not be shamed for it? He literally said that.
You have to have the ability to feel. You have to have the ability to feel shame. Tej.
Someone else said he's not an immigrant; he's an orphan. Those two things are not mutually exclusive.
You can be both, actually. I saw people legitimately trying to argue, like, "Oh, well, if both of your parents are dead and you just like land in a field, then like you're not an immigrant. That's not immigrant. What? Like, what are you talking about?
Let that be a little brown baby in that field. Donald Trump is deporting the shit out of that baby, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. Y'all be serious for 2 seconds, bro.
Well, yeah, I can talk about some of the other things that I'm watching that we probably won't do podcasts about. Still working my way through The Office. Just finished season 5. Jim and Pam are pregnant, so we up. Yearners win. Shout out.
Sun's getting low, Dex. You can jump off at any time, bro. Sun's getting low, bro. The sun's getting low when you're off this watch. Don't feel the need to finish just for the sake of finishing. I'm just gonna say that.
Hey,
damn.
Hey, big fella, sun's getting real
low. Somebody tweeted about Babylon the other day, so I rewatched Babylon and then got into a Damien Chazelle mood, and also watched Whiplash. Damien Chazelle's got it, man. Like, he's that fucking guy, dude. Like I don't know what to tell you. That man.
Did he win Best Director? Oscar winner for Best Director, Damien Chazelle has it.
That guy has a future in this business.
Has a future in this business. He knows, hey, I've got great fucking actors. I'm gonna call ISOs, man. He's like Mike D'Antoni. Mike D'Antoni was like, you gave me James Harden and Chris Paul and just a bunch of regular dudes. Okay, cool. Guess what's about to happen? James Harden and Chris Paul are going to cook, and that's going to be it. So he's just like, hey, Margot Robbie, your turn. Go cook. All right, you're done for a little bit. Take a break. Brad Pitt, come cook.
Brad Pitt, go cook. Okay.
All right, Margot Robbie, back in. Go cook again. Like, that shit just works every single time. They do not miss in that movie. Yeah, I get why some people don't like it. Because La La Land is the shit. La La Land should have won Best Picture. I'll stand on that hill forever.
No, I wouldn't know that hill's wrong, but it's fucking great.
And then Whiplash, dude, Miles Teller. What are we doing, man?
Where did we go wrong?
Why did we go wrong with the Miles Teller thing, guys? Why do we let Glenn Powell come on the block and take his spot, bro?
Glenn Powell hit him with the Nick Cannon and drumline shit, and it was like, I challenge you right here. I want your spot, and he got it. Like, that shit is crazy. I don't know, because goddamn, Miles Teller was so good in that movie.
Obviously, is Miles Teller lazy? Is that what happened? Is he lazy? Like, what happened?
Don't love the game, man. I don't know.
He had some stuff in his past, especially like around like the Fantastic Four reboot movie that they tried to make, where I think he may have been a little bit difficult to work with, but I think he since had gotten over that and kind of grew up a little bit. But no, he just kind of picked bad projects or projects that weren't widely seen, but people continue to like think he's only like 35 years old. Directors think he's kind of the guy for a lot of this stuff. Like speaking of Joseph Kosinski, if you haven't ever watched Only the Brave, they just didn't release that movie wide in theaters. That movie is devastating. That movie is awesome, and he's great in it too. So yeah,
Wasn't
I mean
he
he's
in Top Gun Maverick too? Isn't he
Yeah.
in Top Gun? Yeah.
That's when Glenn Powell stole his chain.
Yeah.
Just took it right off his neck.
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's also married and just like likes going to like I think Philadelphia Eagles games and stuff like that. Like
Hey, I wish you
yeah.
liked going to work, Miles Teller. We want to see you in more stuff. Go to work.
Yeah, when I saw him in that beer commercial where him and his wife are just kind of like just dancing around the house or whatever, I was like, oh, yeah, he's done. He's
We gotta
He's
stop.
too
No,
happy.
we gotta. Yeah, that may be true, but we gotta stop that because literally everyone's in commercials now. The actors
I'm just saying, like,
have gotten way past they're just like, oh, Arby's, yes, sure.
Yeah, but what I see is somebody who's being in a lot of movies in a commercial. That's fine. Miles Teller, I don't want to see you pop up in a fucking commercial. Put out 3 movies in a year and then do a fucking commercial.
I don't mind you being a commercial. I just like I saw that commercial and I was like, oh, this is a happy man who is like satisfied.
he doesn't. He's satisfied in his
life.
work. Yeah.
Sydney Sweeney, she's in all these commercials, but you can tell she's hungry. You know what I'm saying?
Sydney Sweeney
might literally be hungry the way that she broke down how much money she's giving away.
Yeah, Miles Teller is like, oh yeah, he's good. Like he is okay. Like he's here
Sydney
collecting
Sweeney
checks.
also hasn't had a day off in 3 years.
Yeah,
And I love
Sydney
that.
Sweeney is hungry. The rent due.
She's working.
Miles Teller, the rent not due. He's not hungry anymore.
She might be the only person showing up on set of Euphoria that apparently still a show that exists. She might be the only person on that set. There's no other person that's actually showing up to work. And Sydney's just like, I'm just here, guys, just in case we're filming today. I'm here.
Y'all paying? I'm here. Like, it doesn't matter.
Do I still get paid for the day? Okay, cool. I'm there. I'll be there.
But yeah, Miles Teller, he's got like 4 movies on his Wikipedia page that are like in production or post production or whatever. So I hope he gets it back. But
turn that up, Miles. We like you, bro.
Yeah, Glenn Powell stole your chain. That shit is crazy. We need you to come back to your spot as the one true millennial white boy.
Have y'all seen the original Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No.
Parts of it I haven't. It's so campy and weird, but I haven't seen it in full.
So it is a very campy, weird movie. I feel like the trailer for the Glenn Powell movie, I will be there. I am Glenn Powell Hive. I will be there no matter what. But I did not love that trailer. There's something about that didn't really work for me. So
I'm also an
Edgar. I'm wrong.
I'm also an Edgar Wright guy. I didn't see Last Night in Soho, but I've been there for I think every other one that he's done. So
I like Last Night in Soho. I know other people don't, but I thought the movie was good, and I actually own that. Did y'all know Miles Teller is in that Michael Jackson biopic they're working on?
No way!
Wow,
Yeah.
That's also
I had
a film
no
that's going to
idea.
exist. We're getting Michael Jackson. We're getting the Beatles. These are all films that are going to exist. We're getting more Beatles films than anyone could ever ask for, ever want.
I also didn't know that Coleman Domingo is in this movie playing Joe Jackson, which, like, yeah, that works.
I do
That'll
that.
play.
That's great casting.
They have had to retool that movie several times because
a
of
couple different times.
Allegations.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, that's what I've been watching.
I saw The Phoenician Scheme. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I had a pleasurable time. I did enjoy The Phoenician Scheme. I just generally like his movies. They're kind of weird, kind of niche in their own way, but I'm a big fan of them. I haven't seen 28 Days Later. I did see The Materialist. I thought it was fine. I don't think it was. We didn't make past lives, but not every movie can be past lives, and I don't want to hold her to that standard because that may be lightning in a bottle.
Impossible.
Yeah, but I thought that The Materialist was fine.
The further away I get from that movie, the less I like it.
That's fair. You weren't really you were not into it.
I mean, it like I was also bait and switch, just like everybody else that went into it. That's kind of giving it low reviews. I mean, did you take it to heart what I said? If you go into it thinking it's a romantic comedy, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah, I tried to take that with me, and it's very much not a romantic comedy. Like, in fact, some pretty serious shit happens. It's like, whoa.
Yeah. You texted the group, and I was like, yep.
Oh, I just like, oh God, like this is where we're taking this movie. But I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. Yeah. Oh, someone on my friends list saw Eddington. I gotta tap in. I cannot wait for Eddington. I can't wait.
I don't know.
It's
I
gonna be
don't
great.
know about Ari, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, he's on Fraud
We're
Watch,
not
but
gonna get
I'm gonna
on
watch
this.
the movie.
We're not gonna get on this podcast and talk about Ari being on Fraud Watch. This
He,
is a ridiculous assertion.
I don't know, Jim.
This is a
I don't know,
ridiculous
Jim.
assertion.
He's got to be on Fraud Watch
Ari
after
is
Bo's
him.
Afraid.
I watched Bo's Afraid like 2 weeks ago. That shit bangs. I'm sorry, that shit bangs, bros. It's just it bangs.
Why did you do
It
that to
bangs.
yourself?
It bangs. I wanted to feel something.
Ugh.
It bangs, bros.
He's on Fraud Watch, but you know.
It's gonna piss. The movie's gonna piss a lot of people off because he made a COVID. He made a COVID movie like where people are still dying of COVID. So that's I think
that Mariah Carey.
I think it's gonna.
And Bo's Afraid makes him. There's no way you can put somebody who made something like that on Fraud Watch. It just doesn't make sense to me, my friend.
I have to put him on Fraud Watch specifically for that scene. He tried to ruin that song for me. He tried to ruin that song for me forever. Fortunately, like there's nothing worth remembering about that movie, so like I don't remember exactly like
This is
You don't remember the giant penis monster in the attic?
I do remember the giant penis monster in the attic. But, oh my god.
Kind of
like,
hard to forget.
I was so like pissed off watching that movie. Especially when I was pissed off the whole time, but especially when it ended. I was like, this man just hates movies and he hates me for going to the movies and watching them and
Hates his
expecting them
mother.
hates his
Ari, I
hates
love
me.
you.
He's on
I
Fraud
know
Watch.
you. I know you're listening to this podcast, Ari. I will always defend you. They will never make me hate you.
I don't know, Jim.
I also saw After Hours, the Scorsese movie.
Oh, I started watching it the
watched
other
that.
night because of the
watched that.
rewatchable.
Yeah, that's why I watched
happening?
it.
What is happening?
It's an insane film. Kind of has some synergy with Bo's Afraid. Insane. Film.
Actually, yeah, kind of a little bit, but I mean, it's got more going on. I didn't think it was like super great, but I kind of am like, if you spent a night in New York and you've just like wandered around, I kind of get it. Also, Martin Scorsese probably on cocaine when he made that movie.
Definitely 100% on cocaine. I feel the same. I feel similar. I wasn't like blown away with it, but I had a good time. It's a Scorsese movie. There are very few Scorsese movies that I can't pop on and have a good time. I think that's it. I think everything else I've talked about. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of Love Island. Unfortunately, Love Island.
Y'all talk about that in the chat, and I have to be like the boomer where I'm just like,
Well, they stepped on it, bros. It's a stepped on product that people are really popular, really excited about. But it's just they just hit a level of popularity that's actually too big for the show. And I think that's the most fascinating thing. There's all this fan harassment. There's all this people digging up old stuff on the people in the cast. All this bullying going on, and all of this is really playing into the show day to day. And it's like, oh, this is a thing that's actually gotten too big for its own good. And I think we need to just do something different because holy shit, have people showed their ass about how they've been treating these contestants on this show.
And I don't know why this year did it like I've known like about Love Island for a while or whatever, and like people have watched it and enjoyed it and stuff.
But
it
blew up.
Yeah, people are going to like watch parties at bars and shit like it's the Super Bowl. Like every fucking week they're going to like
it took the place it kind of took the place of what The Bachelor was, because The Bachelor had gotten stale in a way that I think that people were looking for something new, and this is just new enough.
I think so. I think it's a lot of the same with the Love Is Blind as well. And I think the last season of Love Island was so incredibly well received by the people that are already watching the show that I think that there's just like a perfect timing thing where everybody came into the beginning of the show and there was so much drama in the beginning of the show that people got hooked on it. But this is actually like this season of the show is actually worse than the other seasons for a number of reasons, but it's because they're so popular now that it's just kind of changed its level of popularity. It's insane that it's kind of.
Didn't someone have to leave the show the other day?
Multiple people have had to leave the show because they found their old posts that were racist. But there are also other people who posted questionable shit on their Instagrams or on their social medias in the past that did not get kicked off the show. And also the girl who just got kicked off the show, like people were fucking calling ICE about her family trying to get her deported. Like here's some nasty shit going on with the people that are watching Love Island. It's too popular for its own good right now. So it's in a really strange place.
Yeah, all those like shows and movies about like the Hunger Games or Squid Games where it's like people are watching shit in real time and like Voting to kill. Yeah, that shit. We're here, brothers.
We're getting there.
We
We're a couple
are
steps away
here.
from that. It is because this show airs literally every day, which is the ridiculous. It's like 50 episodes a season when it should be 15 episodes a season, but capitalism. So it's like every day, but it's like the everyday nature of it actually makes it awful because people are quite literally watching and reacting in real time, and the people on the show do not have access to social media. Like they are not seeing the ebbs and flows, but America's just voting on who should die, who should get kicked off. And it's just it's in a very toxic place. It's in a toxic place.
The Running Man is a documentary, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, basically. But Glenn Powell's in it, so I'll be there. I'll be there no matter what.
I've watched a lot of movies. I've watched the 28 Years Later, The Materialist. I've watched Novocaine finally because it came out. I think it's on Paramount.
I heard good stuff.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's totally fine. I think it's a perfect 3-star movie. You know what I mean?
Nice.
They tried multiple times to make Jack Quaid into a leading man guy. I'm not sure if it's there. He may be like funny sidekick character bit, or character actor guy. But no, I thought it was
Amber Midthunder, right? She's in that one.
Yeah, she is in. She doesn't have a lot to do, but it's fine.
They just announced Amber Midthunder is going to be in something else this week. What did they announce? Something.
All right. Well, look, go ahead and keep going.
My heart. Materialist, Novocaine, 28 Years Later. I thought 28 Years Later was awesome.
Do you think it was better than the previous 2 films?
Yes. Yeah, I do.
That gives me some hope.
I don't know. The first one was you keep saying it looks like crap, and it does kind of look like shit, but like
it looks like absolute dog shit.
But something about Cillian Murphy in that movie and like how they turn up that movie and the sort of post 9/11 anxiety that the movie, like you could still feel in the movie, is pretty palpable. Them going in a different direction with this movie, but it's clearly like the most Danny Boyle film in a long time. I really enjoyed it. I think Danny Boyle and Alex Garland together make some pretty good movie magic. And it takes a turn that you just really don't expect it to take. And I think it's I'd say it's probably better than the other 2 movies, especially better than the second one.
That trailer fucking rocks. That's easily my favorite trailer of the year.
Trailer is better than the movie.
Dex,
why do you keep taking? Wait, does she want to go see this film? You got to stop taking her to these films that she doesn't want to see. How does she feel about 28 Years Later?
My wife?
Yeah,
I didn't take her to that.
Oh, okay. You said her name. I was like, oh, you took her to this movie?
No, I was going to say, Caitlin and I watched How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2. That's what we're doing at our house. That's the movies that she'll watch.
Not the live action ones. You mean
not the live action
one. Animated ones? Okay.
We thought we were going to go see the live action one, because it made
made a lot of money,
$800 million or whatever it is, and people actually seem to have liked it. But I had never seen the animated ones, and we're in there for animation. Really, I watch a lot of animated movies still to this day. The first one made me feel something, guys.
That first one goes fucking crazy.
Dude, it's good. I haven't seen the last.
I haven't seen the second one.
I've seen the second one. I don't think I've seen. Are there 3 or are there 4?
3 mainline films, I think.
Okay, yeah, I haven't seen the third one, but the first 2, real cinema.
And then I watched Marathon Man because of the rewatchables. Interesting relic of the 1970s. And yeah, Live Free or Die Hard, baby. Hell yeah, brother.
Still, the movie holds up. Justin Long, good job.
I watched that fully on cable with like 18-minute commercial breaks, and I just was like, I gotta see him, jump onto an airplane. I gotta see it. So
did I talk about watching Terminator on this podcast? By the way, I don't remember.
Had you never seen Terminator?
I had seen it before, but I was like young.
You're talking about the original, or you're talking about T2?
The original.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
No,
I watched the original the other day. Like, we just had it on at the Apollo office, me and Garrett, and I was like,
Yeah.
It's okay.
Compared to T2, that shit is mid. I'm sorry.
You got to look at it as like two separate movies. Honestly, the first one's kind of like a horror slasher movie.
Yeah, it's like a different genre. It's not. It's not an action movie. and it doesn't slap. And then in T2 they play Bad to the Bone, and all of a sudden Arnold shows up and starts being fucking cool as shit
on a motorcycle with a shotgun. You're like, hell
hell yeah, brother, turn that shit up.
I need to
Thank
watch
you,
the
James
second
Cameron.
one again now that I've watched the first one again for the first time in years.
You'll like
But
it.
yeah,
even
I watched
more.
the first one. I was like,
T2, God tier, coolest movie you've ever seen at the time that you saw it. I will never forget the first time that I saw that film. I was a kid and I was like, this is cinema. This is what movies are. This is fucking
James Cameron talking cash shit on Christopher Nolan though too. Have we talked about that?
we haven't.
what did he say?
He's like, I'm built different. I would have shown the atomic bomb explosion.
Or yeah, like
Aftermath of the atomic bomb
he called
explosion.
out Nolan.
He literally showed that in Terminator
being
2.
cowardly or whatever about Oppenheimer and not showing the effect on the people of Japan or whatever.
Again, didn't have to see
man,
that.
It's not what the movie's about. Like,
That's literally not what the movie's about.
We had this conversation 2 years ago, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
we already did this.
James Cameron tried to Chad too much, and he just got it in his own way. Like he literally was like, I'm built different. James Cameron, hey man, we appreciate you for your films. I could take or leave whatever Avatar shit slot that you continue to put out.
When you see the atomic fallout in Terminator 2, that's one of the scariest things I've ever seen in the movie.
Look, he's made incredible films.
Horrifying.
You know what James Cameron has also done? Made only 12 movies since 1976.
Yeah, that's a really good point too.
Shut up! Make another movie.
He's gonna end his career making like 6 Avatar movies.
Yeah.
Like,
Make another
He
movie,
hasn't
James.
made a good movie since 1997.
That's what I said.
He hasn't made a good movie.
So please let Nolan cook and let Nolan do his thing, bro.
You're worried about what Chrissy Nolan is doing over here? You're worried about Christopher?
Yeah, you got some fucking nerves, James Cameron.
James, come on, brother.
Lock in.
Like, go deep sea dive or whatever and leave us alone. But don't talk shit on Christopher. Like,
the Odyssey is coming soon.
We sound like film
IMAX,
bros
brother.
defending Christopher Nolan now. I completely understand that, but it's like, James, we don't have to step off into this. What are we doing? Make a good movie.
Every second of the Odyssey is going to be an IMAX. You could learn a fucking lesson, James Cameron.
Talk about a film that has no cultural relevance. Avatar, and they keep making billions of dollars.
You know, maybe that's the problem. Is that James Cameron thought that he was going to, come back and make just a shit ton of money and win awards and shit for Avatar 2, and everyone was going to suck his dick. But everyone was like, no, actually, we want Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer. We want what Christopher Nolan over here doing. The game's passed you by, old man. You're done.
I just found that. I mean, he did it because he's talking about making a movie about the atomic aftermath of Japan, which, I mean, thousands of movies have been made about that, including animated films it's like the entire canon of Miyazaki, really, if you look at it. But I just think that the idea that, I don't know. That headline pissed me. I got real mad online in the group chat about that.
I'm laughing because I just remembered that Avatar 2, the movie where, James Cameron is trying to like save the world and talk about climate change and building aliens and shit and making Sigourney Weaver a child alien for whatever reason. He put all of that work into that movie and he lost to Everything Everywhere All at Once, where Michelle Yeoh beats people with a dildo.
Oh, and in the first movie that like shattered box office records and reinvented film technology, and everybody was celebrating, he lost to his ex-wife for The Hurt Locker, a movie she made for 10 cents.
That's why he's bitter.
So whatever, James. You made some classic cinema that will withstand the test of time, and you could literally wipe your ass with the money that I make.
Yeah, you made Titanic, bro. There's no reason for you to ever feel a way about anything.
I would have phoned it in after making Titanic as well.
Yeah,
but
I'd have been full of George R. R. Martin. You would have never heard from me again.
Yeah. Anyway, so That's been what. Oh, and I watched most of Mobland. I'm nearly done with it on Paramount.
I just started it.
It's not bad. It's Tom Hardy whisper talking his way through another role, but he's intimidating. So yeah. Anyway, that has been what we're watching. By the way, if the podcast starts to sound a little different, especially with intros and outros, if we just come up and start the podcast, unless I can find some license-free music, they've been taking the catalog down. I've been getting emails because I've been may or may not have been stealing music for a while. So all the
The
songs,
liberal media is trying to silence us.
So you can still, I think, listen to all of our podcasts in like the back catalog on Apple, but I'm getting emails from Spotify that they are taking our shit down.
It's on Overcast. It's just those Swedish people that are doing this.
Yeah, so it's on wherever you get your podcasting platforms. We still have the back catalog, so if you really wanted to listen to it on Spotify, you're like, hey, where did our favorite episode about Ray or 21 Jump Street go? Let me know, and I'll try to re-edit those and get those back online without the music in them. But yeah, anyway, Dex. Oh, first of all, like, download, rate, review, subscribe. Please do that. We are putting out episodes a little bit more regularly. I think I got my schedule down to where we can kind of get this going. Brandon says he blames Tej for our podcast getting taken down. That's probably accurate. But yeah, so like, download, rate, review, subscribe. We really appreciate that. Dex, what are we doing as always?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh, gang gang.
We will continue to do that until she is in a new Jurassic World movie.